There is something that's really interesting. This whole system is already beginning to fall apart even before it has really even been fully implemented, and that is now with transgender. The truth is that women and men are built differently. That's science.
Wow, did you hear that?
On the radio, he said it.
I did.
Wow.
I did. Yeah, so they're built differently. And now who's suffering? The girls in school. The girls who are losing their scholarships to go to college, they're losing them to guys who now are transitioning to be women because they're faster runners. And they don't think that's fair. What a surprise.
In Connecticut, it happened with two trans girls in one race. The top two winners were both transgender. I mean, so it's really starting to affect women's sports, and they're not happy about it. And when they speak out about it, they get beat to a pulp because you're not supposed to say anything.
They just kicked Billie Jean King out of the clubhouse.
Martina Navratilova.
No, Billie Jean King.
Billie Jean too?
Yeah, Billie Jean King this week.
Wow.
Martina Navratilova
last week.
Yeah. So they are.
That's incredible. And
these are people who stood.
They were pioneers.
This is like kicking Martin Luther King out of a civil rights group today.
Right.
And believe me, if Martin Luther King were alive, they would kick him out.
Mm-hmm. It's probably true.
First of all, he was way too religious, that guy.
Yes.
He had the word reverend before his name.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, and he talked a lot about personal responsibility. I mean, he talked a lot about being not
colorblind.
Yeah.
It's wrong now to be colorblind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wait a minute, I thought that was the point.
You thought wrong.
And
No, I
gender,
didn't. No, I
gender
didn't.
is about identity and feelings. Feelings. It's
Stolen
something
races.
that Morris Albert sings about. That's not what you're supposed to base gender on.
Right.
I remember that good.
Come on.
I remember watching, because we were talking about this. What's the difference here between gender? Like, we're describing something, right? There are organs on a person, and that's what we're describing. And they seem to be describing something else. And we were watching, this is when we were on Pat and Stu, and we watched a clip about Ellen talking about it. And she said, gender is a feeling you have in your brain. Mm-hmm. Or in your heart.
That's right.
And it's like, well, just talking about your feelings may have value, but I don't think it has value in this conversation.
Well, wait a minute. If that is true, fine. Then we need to use science and talk about the body, not your feeling, when you're competing with sports. Yes. You're only hurting the girls. You're hurting the girls. And this is proof positive that socialism will never take hold. You'll have to kill millions of people because socialism, as I'm going to explain in my CPAC speech, has nothing to do with fairness or justice, has nothing to do with it. Okay? That's not its goal. That's the goal of the free market system. That's the goal of a constitutional republic is justice, as close as we can get to justice. Here's what's happening. Americans are fair. Americans are open. Americans do not want to judge their neighbor and somebody who lives differently than them, for the most part. There are bigots on both sides. Okay. But for the most part, people are like, look, man, you want to call yourself a chick? Call yourself a chick, whatever. If you want to live like a woman, fine, do it. I don't have a problem with that. However, when it starts to affect me and my life, then I have a problem.
As you should.
Right. And as it is now starting to trickle down into all of these kids that said, no, I'm for fairness. Well, yes, so are conservatives. So are constitutional libertarians. We are for being fair and open and decent. But once it starts to hinder your life and your rights, no one person has a right to trample on the rights of another. And by competing, if we're going to put men and women in the same sport, fine, then it makes no difference. But we separated it because Americans knew scientifically men and women are built differently. They just are. And you have to reject all science to think differently. And so we separated them. so it would be fair, so the girls could win. What are the girls saying now in Connecticut?
They're pissed. They're losing out on scholarships. It's just unfair.
And they say they know what the outcome is before the race is even won.
Yes.
Before they even start, they know those people are going to win because they're built as a man. And so they're going to win. And they said, every race, it's the same. Why are we even racing?
Yeah, and these are the kids who have been taught their whole lives that they should be inclusive, and they want to be. They should be diverse, and they want to be. And then they get to this, and they're finding out that now there's some problems with all of that. Yeah, we want to be inclusive, and we want to be diverse, and all those things are great. But there's also fact. There's also science and reason and logic. And it's not logical for these, these are identifying as women, but they got a man unit in their pants. Right. That makes it different.
And a bunch of testosterone.
You know what?
Makes it different.
Right. The man unit, besides the testosterone, doesn't matter. It's the muscle mass and the bone structure.
Yeah, but it's because they have a man unit in their pants.
Correct.
So they have a different muscle structure.
Correct.
And this is why we don't have kids making these decisions. They eat paste, right? Like, this is not...
Tide Pods.
Yeah, Tide Pods. Thank you.
Yes.
It's like,
I got news for you. It's not kids making this decision. Those are adults that have been making these decisions.
Right, but the kids have been are growing up under those conditions where that is now just the truth.
They've bought into all that
They
stuff.
bought into it.
But now it's affecting them.